And welcome to the Hot Seat of College Football Show. I am Trent, your host, as today we have a special type of video that really only happens once per season. So I'm incredibly excited to tell you what we're going to be talking about today. But before we get into the video, make sure you hit the subscribe button. We're so close to 150 subscribers. We're trying to get to 1,000 before the beginning of the 2026 season, which gives us around 7 months of the off season. We're going to try to grow and to get to 1,000 before the beginning of next season. And remember, always hit the like button. It helps grow the show. YouTube, when videos get more likes, YouTube recommends them almost double the amount as videos that don't get likes. So I'm please asking, they're free, they don't cost anything to scroll down. It takes 2 seconds. Hit the like button, please do it now. And then if you want, it's optional, if you want to get a notification when I drop a new video before anyone else sees my new video, make sure to turn on that notification bell. It's right next to the subscribe button. So let's talk about something that it's a very personal project thing, and we're going to be recapping this whole season. And we're really going to be working within this spreadsheet that I have that covers every single aspect of the in-season, every single aspect. We're going to go over my prediction of my preseason thoughts, and then my reaction, the outcome of how the season turned out, and then how good was I at predicting my percentages and my total grade. So that's the purpose of this video. If that interests you, make sure you stay tuned. That is the premise of this video. That's what we're going to be talking about. It's mostly about the spreadsheet. It's kind of my overall thoughts about the season. So let's jump into this, and I'm so excited to talk about this. Here it is, and let me zoom out, and I'll explain everything. If I can just scroll out so you guys can see how big this thing actually is. That's as much as I can zoom out. There's actually more, and here, let me move my webcam for a second, like this, this is a big spreadsheet. There is a lot between the regular season, all awards, and the playoff. So yeah, so let's zoom back in. Let's just reset. Let's zoom in a little bit more. So let's start off with the beginning of the preseason of the overall win totals. This was the preseason poll, and obviously, this was my prediction of what it was going to be. Ohio State 1, Texas 2, Penn State 3, Clemson 4. This was your top 4. You just flipped it. It was a different order. The shocking thing was actually that Texas's wins were only 9.5 for the preseason. So how my grading system works, you can see here are the percentages for the grade. The regular season is 89% of the grade. Conference championship winners are 1% each, so your Power 4, then your highest ranked Group 5. Your conference rankings are 1% each. I'll get into that. And then your championship teams are 3% each, 5% bonus if you predict the winner. Golden weeks you can see on the regular season, or actually I'll just get into that. So this is my prediction of how I thought all the games were going to go. So there's sections. So here is your Big Ten tab. This whole section is the Big Ten. It's my predicted of my top 7 teams in the Big Ten. So I had Ohio State, then Penn State, then Oregon, then USC, then Washington, then Illinois, then Michigan. You can see there's no Indiana, so I was a little bit wrong about that. I used to have Indiana at 7, and they were my 8th team. In the SEC, I had then Texas, then Bama, then LSU, then Georgia, then South Carolina, then Florida, then Oklahoma. In the ACC, this is my ACC tab. I had Clemson, and I do count Notre Dame in the ACC. So Clemson, Notre Dame, then Miami, then Louisville, Georgia Tech, SMU, then Florida State. Then in the Big 12, Arizona State, Texas Tech, Kansas State, Iowa State, Baylor, BYU, and Utah. So these are my top 7 from each Power 4 conference. So let's start off with Ohio State. I'm going to zoom in all the way just to accentuate with Ohio State. Here, let me zoom out a little more. So this is how I do it. So you can see you have in the Big Ten tab, this is Ohio State's section. This is the schedule for Ohio State. So week 1, the NC stands for the non-conference. The exclamation mark is the biggest game on that team's schedule, and then the either the minus the minus number in the green is your favored, and then the plus red is an underdog in your ranked matchups. So I had Ohio State go 4-1 versus ranked teams, 3-0 versus rivals. These golden weeks, these are your rivalry weeks. Then the black tab is your bye week. So week 1, non-conference, -3, you're favored against Texas. I actually had Ohio State losing against Texas. And then I had them finishing 11-1. These number 457 to 156. They scored 457 points and allowed 176, 38.1 points per game per average, and then allowing 14.7 defensive points allowed. This was all preseason, so I did my prediction for the whole season before the season even started. Then I had Penn State going 11-1, then Oregon, then USC, then Washington, then Illinois, then Michigan. Actually, I was 100% perfect about Michigan. They lost to Oklahoma, lost to USC, lost to Ohio State. They go 9-3. I was 100% perfect. If we go back to Ohio State, I had them losing to Texas, had them beating Washington, beating Illinois in a close one, beating Penn State in a close one, then beating Michigan 31-21. My team to go 12-0. My number 1 team in the country was Texas. They beat Ohio State in a close game. They beat Florida in a close game, beat Oklahoma, beat Vanderbilt, beat Georgia, then beat A&M. I was very high on this Texas team. Bama I had going 11-1, losing in a shootout to South Carolina. I had LSU going 10-2 with a loss to Bama and Clemson. I had Georgia going 10-2 with a loss to Bama, which they actually lost to, then Texas. I had South Carolina going 9-3, missing the playoff. I had Florida going 9-3, missing the playoff, and I had Oklahoma going 8-4, missing the playoff. Scrolling down to the ACC, let me move my mic a little bit closer. So the sound quality is a little bit better. I think that's a little bit better. Turn the gain down a little bit. I had Clemson also going 12-0, 30-27 win over LSU. I had them beating Georgia Tech, and the only ranked opponents on here I had was LSU, Louisville, and South Carolina. I thought Louisville was going to be a really good team. They were pretty good. They had some close, unlucky losses in overtime. I had Notre Dame going 11-1 with a loss to Arkansas. They beat Arkansas, but they lose to A&M and lose to Miami, which I was pretty wrong in Notre Dame. Miami, I had them losing Notre Dame, losing to Florida, going 10-2. Again, I had them being the first team that missed the playoff, which they were so close to being. I had Louisville going 10-2 with loss to Miami and Clemson. I had Georgia Tech going 9-3. I had SMU going 1, 2, 3, 4, 8-4. Then I had Florida State going 7-5. I thought, I was like, you know what, Florida State's gonna have a great year. They're gonna go 7-5, so much better than 2-10. And I'm going to be the only one predicting them going good. And then they beat Alabama. It's like, oh, I was right about it. They're actually going to be a lot better. And then they end up 5-7, and I actually was much higher on them than I should have been. In the Big 12, I had Arizona State going 11-1. I had Texas Tech going 11-1. I actually picked their schedule perfectly, 11-1 with a loss to Arizona State. I had Kansas State going 10-2. They were terrible. Had Iowa State going 9-3. They weren't great. Baylor was terrible. They went 5-7. BYU had going 9-3, then I had Utah going 8-4. You see, like Utah, they're 0-3 versus ranked teams, 0-2 versus rivals. They did win their exclamation mark game, but I mean, yeah, I was not very high statistically on this Utah offense. 25 points a game per average. That was my prediction for the Utes. Here was my prediction of the conference championships. I had Penn State beating Ohio State in a rematch, which I guess I was kind of right because Ohio State lost the Big Ten championship. I know because I was at that game. I had Texas beating Bama. Bama did, like, I give me 1% win. I'm 1% chance, or I get a 1% bonus to my grade if I pick the winner of the conference championships. I picked the right loser for two of them. I had Ohio State losing and Bama losing. I had Clemson beating Miami, and then I had Arizona State beating Texas Tech. My award winner, I'll get to them last. Actually, I'll do the award winners. I had my Heisman winner was Cade Klubnik. Runner-up was Jeremiah Smith. Then Arch Manning and Garrett Nussmeier. None of these guys even made it to New York. My awards, I had Kenny Dillingham being the coach of the year, Jim Knowles being the best assistant coach, Cade Klubnik being the best quarterback, Jeremiah Smith being the best Biletnikoff, which he should have won. I can't believe he didn't win it. Doak Walker, Jeremiah Love. So I'll say, all of these are wrong, but the best receiver, Jeremiah Smith, I was right. The best running back, Jeremiah Love, I was right. The John Mackey best tight end, I was wrong on that one. Jake Slaughter being the best center, I would think so. Jim Thorpe, best defensive back, got that one right. The best linebacker, got that one wrong. And really, it was Arvell Reese, but like Jacob Rodriguez deserved the award. I'm not gonna say he's not. And then the best defensive end, I had Colin Simmons. Who actually was the best? Was it David Bailey from Texas Tech? Or no, it's probably Ruben Bain. My All-American was Cade Klubnik, quarterback, then Jeremiah Love and Nicholas Singleton at running back, then Jeremiah Smith, Ryan Williams, Jaden Greathouse, and Jordan Tyson as my receivers, Max Clare as my tight end, Francis Maligoa at the left tackle, which I was right. I have the guard from Penn State, who I think I was right. Jake Slaughter is one of the best centers, Caden Green, and then Spencer Fano. So my offensive line for the preseason for the All-Americans, I think it was actually very, very accurate. And then Desmond Reed from Pitt, I think is the all-purpose guy. My All-American defense, I had Dylan Stewart. I had Edric Houston. I picked the wrong Ohio State defensive tackle to be an All-Americans. Peter Woods and Colin Simmons. At linebacker, Anthony Hill Jr. Sonny Styles, again, picked the wrong Ohio State linebacker. Surtain Perkins. Jahad McCoy at cornerback, he was out for the year. Leonard Moore, I think he did make it. Then D'Angelo Ponce, he was, I think, an All-American. Caleb Downs was an All-American. And then Rod Moore from Michigan, who was not. Then all-purpose Caleb Downs. Kicker Dominic Zavada, he was okay this year. Not very good, though. Then Brett Thorson as the punter. I think he's the Georgia punter, but I could do that wrong. Okay, so now going to the national title. These were the preseason college football 26 ratings. That's so actually, because that was my natty. Yeah, we'll get to this in a second. So these were my championship odds for all the teams. My bowl games, I had Miami I had USC beating Miami, and you can just look at these. These were the bowl games I thought was going to be. This was my playoff. I had LSU, Georgia going on the road and beating LSU. I had Tulane, who didn't make the playoff, losing at Bama. I had Texas Tech losing at Notre Dame, and I had Oregon beating Arizona State. Then, actually, hold on. So Georgia made the playoff. Bama made the playoffs. Tulane made the playoffs. Texas Tech made the playoffs. Oregon made the playoffs. Ohio State made the playoffs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I got half the teams. I got 6 of the playoff. That's pretty impressive. I got half the teams I made it in, I predicted. But I had Texas beating Georgia, I had Ohio State beating Bama. I had Clemson beating Oregon, and then I had Penn State beating Notre Dame. In the semis, I had Texas beating Ohio State twice in the same year. I know. I did not think their defense was going to be that good this year in the preseason. And Penn State beating Clemson. Then my national title was Texas versus Penn State. You can even see my prediction of what the score was throughout the game. I had Penn State making a late comeback, winning 25-24, going 15-1. Their only loss to Ohio State in the regular season, which they avenged in the Big Ten Championship. Here was the preseason overalls. You can see the position, the player, the overall. Then if it's an up, it means it's higher than the other one. If it's a lower, it means it's lower than the other teams. The gold is the best player on that side of the ball. So you see, Penn State had some ups and ups, but look at all these downs. Look at all these advantages Texas seemed to have in the preseason. Look at the defense. Look at red. And Texas, look at all these greens. They had the higher overall almost everywhere. The overall, 91 overall on offense, 94 overall on defense. And then Texas had the better special team. So really, this was a pretty even matchup, which is why I had it predicting it being so close. The conference rankings I was talking about earlier, this was my prediction of how the conferences were going to end out. SEC on top, Big Ten second, ACC third, Big 12 fourth, and the American fifth. It was SEC 1, Big Ten 2, Big 12 3, ACC 4, American 5. So I got 3 out of the 5 right. So that was 3% to my bonus. These are the final rankings. Penn State 1, Texas 2, Clemson 3, Ohio State 4, going 12-3. They ended up being 12-2. It's pretty accurate with Ohio State's season. Notre Dame 6, Georgia 7, Oregon 8, Arizona State 9, LSU 10, Texas 11, Kansas State 12. And you can just kind of pause the video and just look at all of these and where your team might have finished. Then my prediction of the top 10 games of the year. I thought number 1 was going to be South Carolina, Bama. It was a pretty decent game. It actually was a decent game. Number 2, I had Bama, Georgia. I thought this game would then go to overtime. I had Georgia going for 2 and not getting it. Number 3, LSU, Clemson. Like all three, like this was a good game. These 2 games were pretty boring, especially LSU, Clemson. Number 4, Bama, LSU. This game was terrible. I was predicting the semifinal between Clemson and Penn State. This game actually did happen in a bowl game, and it was terrible. Penn State beat Clemson. That was at 22-10. Then number 6, I had Ohio State beating Penn State. This was not a good game. I was at the game. It was fun. I predicted that Alabama versus Ohio State in the playoff would be up there. That game obviously did not happen. The 8 was South Carolina, Oklahoma. This was not a good game. Penn State, Texas national title. That game did not happen. Then Arizona State, Texas Tech in a rematch in the Big 12 championship. These guys did play in the regular season, and it was an okay game. But really none of these games even made it. Then you look at my predictions for the best offenses and defenses. LSU had the best offense, then Ohio State, then Bama, Penn State, Clemson, Arizona State, Texas, Notre Dame, USC, Texas Tech, Georgia, Kansas State, Illinois, South Carolina, Oklahoma. Let's start from the bottom. Oklahoma's offense sucked. South Carolina's offense sucked. Illinois' offense sucked. Kansas State offense wasn't great. Georgia's offense was decent. Texas Tech offense was decent. USC had a good offense. Notre Dame had the best offense. Texas had an okay offense. Arizona State had an okay offense. Clemson had a terrible offense. Penn State had a terrible offense. Bama had an okay offense. Ohio State had a good offense, and LSU had a terrible offense. None of these were right. And then we go to the defense. Oh my god. This was like, holy crap. Best defense: Penn State, terrible. Tennessee, terrible. Michigan, terrible. Georgia, terrible. Texas, terrible. Louisville's defense, terrible. Notre Dame's defense, terrible. Ohio State had the best defense. Utah did not have a good defense. Florida had a good defense. Clemson had a good defense. Oregon had a good defense. LSU had a good defense. USC had a terrible defense, and Texas Tech had a really good defense. The strength of schedules, I had Florida than Wisconsin. These kind of turned out to be pretty similar. Not Ohio State, though. And then we look at the statistical top 25, which is basically, it takes your offensive ranking and your defensive ranking. So let's say you're Penn State, you have the best defense and you have the 4th best offense. So it's 1 plus 4 is 5. So you get 5 points. The lowest score is the best. Penn State, number 1, 5 points. Ohio State 2, 10 points. Texas 3 with 12 points. LSU 4, Notre Dame 5, Georgia 6, Clemson 7, Alabama 8, USC 9, Louisville 10. That was your statistical top 10. Then Texas Tech, Florida, Oregon, Arizona State, Kansas State, Illinois, Michigan, Oklahoma, South Carolina, Iowa State, then Tennessee, then Baylor, then Miami, then A&M, then Ole Miss. These bottom 3 all made the playoff, which is pretty crazy. So I think that is all for my prediction. Now we can go into the recap of the season. So we can see Ohio State went 12-0. We can see this was Penn State's schedule. This is rough. It's a rough year for Penn State, then Oregon, then USC, Washington, and we can kind of see everyone finished out. Texas didn't do good. But with the SEC, if you're over here, the first place, it means you're first place in the SEC. And if you're down here, you're 7th place. So I predicted Florida and South Carolina to be the 5th and the 6th best teams in the SEC. And look at their schedules. Look how many losses they have. Both are 4-8. And then Oklahoma did good, Georgia did good. Look at LSU. I mean, I was wrong about the SEC. And if we look at the Big Ten, out of projecting 84 regular season games, I went 67 and 17. That's 79.8% prediction right. For the SEC, I went 58 and 26, 69.1% predicting it right. And the ACC went 50 and 34. And then the Big 12 actually did really good, 58-26. So if we go over to the conference championships, you had Indiana beating Ohio State, Georgia beating Alabama, Duke beating Virginia, and then Texas Tech beating BYU. If you look at the Heisman, Fernando, then Diego, then Jeremiah Love, then Julian Sand. Some of these are empty because the awards haven't been listed yet. Like the best assistant coach hasn't happened yet. It's probably going to be Matt Patricia, but who knows? Could be Corey Heatherman from Miami. Here is your All-American list if you want to pause and look at it. Here's your defense. Here is your College Football 26 ratings, advantages for each team. Obviously, the yellow line means they're even, red means down, green means better. Look how much green Indiana has compared to Miami's red. You can see the overalls at the top, 98 offense compared to their 94, 96 compared to their 92, and then Miami had better special teams. Here are your conference rankings. So on average for the top 7, the SEC's average team placement average was 9.4. The Big 10's was 14th. The Big 12 was 19.9. The ACC was 21.1, and the AAC's was 26.4. Here is your playoff. My total record was 233-101. That's 69.3 average. And then using our grading system from over here, the final grade was 65.68. That's a C grade. Here's your prediction, or here's your national title, and here is the box score. And then if we get to the statistics of what the best games were, for me, I thought the best game of the year, and this game I had so much fun watching, was Ole Miss Georgia. That was the best game of the year. For 2 and 3, I'm actually upset because it's A&M Notre Dame, then Georgia Tennessee. I didn't get to watch the ending of Georgia Tennessee, and I didn't get to watch at all any of Texas A&M Notre Dame because I was at an Ohio State game. I was at Ohio State versus Ohio University, which is where I'm going to college. And I didn't get to watch the ending of this game. We just got to see the box score. They didn't show the game on the Jumbotron. I don't know why. And then I didn't get to watch the Notre Dame A&M game. But these two games were on the same week. They were amazing. At 4, Kansas State Utah. That was an awesome game. Then Miami Ole Miss in the Fiesta Bowl. Then Florida Virginia. Then USC Illinois. Then Baylor SMU. Then Texas, Mississippi State, and then A&M, South Carolina, where they were down 30-3 at halftime, come back to win 31-30. If you look at your top offenses, it was Notre Dame, and this was not counting any group of 5. Notre Dame had the best offense, followed by Indiana, then Utah, then Tennessee, then Texas Tech, then Vanderbilt, then Ole Miss, then Oregon, then USC. Oh, what happened? Then Duke, then Washington, then Texas A&M, then Pitt, then Ohio State, and then Florida State. These were your top 15 offenses statistically in the Power 4, which are the only ones that matter. Your defense, Ohio State, number 1 by a mile, then Indiana, then Texas Tech, then Miami, then Oklahoma, then Iowa, then Georgia, then Notre Dame, Oregon, Washington, Missouri, Utah, BYU, Alabama, and Arizona. And actually, hold on, how many points did Ohio State's defense allow in 2024? So it was 12.9 for Ohio State's defense, so it was much better this year. And then if we looked at our statistical top 25, it was Indiana was 1. Obviously, they have the second overall offense and defense. They only have 4 points. Texas Tech was 2nd. Notre Dame was 3rd. Ohio State was 4th. Utah was 5th. Oregon was 6th. Washington was 7th. Georgia 8, Miami 9, Ole Miss 10, Arizona 11, Texas Tech 12, Iowa 13, Missouri 14th, Penn State was 15th, USC 16th, Florida State 17th, Bama 18th, Oklahoma 19th, Pitt 20th, Louisville 21, Georgia Tech 22, Michigan 23, LSU 24, and then Tulane was 25. That was your best group of 5 team. So here's your statistical top 25. It's weird. Yes, the conferences are different, so that's a big part of it, like why Texas Tech is number 2. But statistically, these are your best teams, especially when you're looking to bet money. These are your best teams. Indiana and Texas Tech were your best teams to bet on. But yeah, I do this every season, and I update it every week, and I get to go through all of the games. Super fun. I love doing this. And honestly, this is what started this channel, basically. I started doing this last year, and I did it this year. And I'm like, I'm tracking all these statistics, and I want to talk about sports. And I did the live bet prediction sheet, which the live bet prediction sheet stemmed from this. This inspired the live bet prediction sheet, and that live bet prediction sheet, which remember we do the top 10 games every week back in when football was actually happening. And that's what kind of started everything. So I kind of credit this to being the godfather of what started this channel. So I'll always be grateful for this. I love doing this. But yeah, that's kind of my recap for the season. Indiana is your national champions. Those are a lot of statistics and a lot of cool spreadsheets. If you guys want to see this, I can if you guys gotta let me know down in the comments. But I can share this to anyone who has a link in a Google Drive and just kind of put it on viewers so you guys can just look at it. But if you want, and you want, let's say you're a USC fan and you want to see all of USC's statistics in one place, or all of Ohio State statistics in one place, or how your championship team did in the playoff or the play. If you want to see all that stuff in the conference rankings, just let me know, and I will happily send you guys a link or post it in the description or in the comment section. But just let me know. But that's all I have for you guys right now. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, turn on the notification if you want to get a notification every single time I release a new video. But again, as always, that's all I have for you guys now. I'll see you guys all tomorrow, and as always, thank you.